This is a to be continued. They finally approved the quote, but had a little bit of a speed bump. So to get you up to speed, what we've got here, we've got two separate circuits, and that suction accumulator on the back side is leaking right where the line goes into the tank. And these were made specifically for this unit. I've reached out to the manufacturer of these accumulators, and they can make one, but they have a pretty long lead time. So what we're going to do is, I'm not going to try to fix that tank. I'm going to swap it with this other one because this other one is not being used. They've replaced this side with this unit here. So we're just going to go for it and see what happens. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and get this tank uninstalled and get that other one uninstalled and swapped out with this one, and we're going to get it on some nitrogen and see what happens. I'm going to cut this thing loose here. That's all the way through. Considering these are not going to be used anymore, I'm going to get this pipe out of the way so I can work a little bit easier. Let's see if the little M12 will bust these loose. Well, look at there, I made some room. I'm gonna clean these up a little bit. I don't have time for sandpaper. I'm gonna clean these up. Works much better than sandpaper. I should say much faster. I got it in, got it bolted up. I'm gonna change that liquid core real quick before I get too far. Okay, got the filter out. I'm gonna try a new product. Ace Super Degreasing Solvent. We're gonna see how this stuff works. Gotta get that gasket out of there. I don't know. That new Calgon HD degreaser just normally zips that stuff right off of there. Let's see if it'll come off with a rag. Good enough for government work. Smells good. Looky here. We got Copeland filters. I grabbed two. I couldn't remember how many this thing had. Word of advice. I always rub these things off. You'll have some loose, well, we got a train. You'll have some loose pieces, and I don't know if it's preference or whatever, but I feel it's better to just get all the loose pieces off. That way they're not going into the system. That's our gasket there for the bottom. And that shell will squish it down nice. Yeah, we'll use this for our lid. You always use gaskets. You want to make sure all that liquid comes through the entire filter. If you'll just wiggle back and forth, keeping your blade down in the bottom, you can slowly work this thing out. And if you try to pull this, it's going to break. Typically, see? Oh yeah, word to the wise. Typically, you want to get this gasket out before you open the filter, just so it's not sitting out in the ambient. And this is something that's personal preference. You can use refrigeration oil, but I like to put a little bit of nylog, just a little tiny bit. We'll work this gasket down in there. What I like to do is I'll go through it with my screwdriver and just work it all the way around, make sure it's all the way down in there. Alright, that's down in there. Now I'm going to go over the top with just a tiny bit of nylog. We'll put this back in. I can't record while I'm down in here because my chest mount will not cooperate. But basically, when you put these back on, do it like you're tightening a wheel. Don't go tight, 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 tight. Do a cross pattern. So like tighten this one, tighten that one, tighten that one, tighten that one, tighten that one, so on and so forth. Y'all get the idea. And again, we're going to see if the Ambro controls, a little bitty baby torch, can do that 1.3 inch. She's brazed in. That little torch works great. I mean, buddy, I don't care if it costs a lot to run it. That thing is a service tech's best friend when it comes to torches. So anyway, I got some nitrogen going in here. I didn't want to get too carried away giving it a lot of pressure. I just wanted to watch it for a second. I gave it about another 100 psi, and it's holding. Ha ha! How you run your vacuum? On a generator? Well, me, not normally, but there ain't no outlets around here, and this is all 480 volt. We've got some transformers, but I was a little skeptical of running it because the voltage was a little bit too high. Lowest I found was 145. Got the old one hose set up, pulling on the suction. I got my micron gauge over here on the condenser. I done forgot to hit record. Anyway, finally got down under 500 microns. Got some gas going in right here to the condenser. Hey, here we go. Alright, we'll swap a room. Got a lazy drum of refrigerant, so I'm trying to heat it up to get the gas to get excited and leave this tank. Now we have no condenser fan, so I need to dive into that. Why no condenser fan? Because we're missing fuses? That's unwired. I'm assuming that's that other compressor. Now, you know what assuming means. That can make an ASS out of you and me. Let's just see. I tested these fuses earlier. Let's see if that gives us a fan. Let's see if that gives us a fan. Yes, it does. So we've got something else going on, but it's late, I'm cold, it's snowing. I'm gonna go home and come back tomorrow. So we'll have a day two. Day two. Now I've already been here, got everything figured out. Shout out to one of my channel members who opted to do the Pro Hillbilly. I spent a good part of the morning helping him get something diagnosed, and I was trying to work. Obviously I'm on the clock, so didn't get to record a bunch this morning, but we got his issue fixed over the phone. Saved them a bunch of headache. So yeah, appreciate the channel membership, and I'm very glad I could help you. But anyway, so day two, yeah. Here's what I found. So unit's running, it's doing great. It's dropped the box temp a lot already. Last night when I was here, and mind you, it's really cold right now. It was about 26 degrees yesterday, and right now it's like 29 degrees. I could not get this thing to build head pressure, and also where it wouldn't build any head pressure, we had really low suction pressure. So what ultimately ended up being the issue? The holdback valve and or stacking valve. They're called a few different things, I guess, depending on what part of the world you're in. But this thing right here, that right there, I took the cap off and adjusted it. As you can see, we're maintaining head pressure. So normally, especially on a system that is several years old, and I have that issue, it's because the valve went bad. Now, I don't know for sure that valve is bad. I was able to get it to adjust and get it to maintain head pressure. We will know in the summertime. If I've got that thing run real far in to stack the gas in the condenser, the liquid on the bottom side, it will definitely show its head when the ambient temperature warms up outside. Well, that'll be another video, I'm sure, but right now it's working. Our box is dropping. It was like 70 degrees when I initially got here, and it hopefully by the time I get back in here, I'll probably go in and show you guys, it should be under 60. So these boxes in here, they do two things. They cool produce when it's in storage, and they also use them to ripen produce. So depending on what stage of, I guess, the vegetables or fruit or whatever's in, depicts what they set the cooler as. They keep the same stuff in the same coolers for the most part, but if they need to ripen some tomatoes real quick for an order, they turn the heat on and let them ripen. They'll get the box up to like 70, 75, and if they need to, keep stuff in storage, they'll cool it down. So I'm gonna run in here and we'll take a look real quick and see what we're at. So this is a tomato ripening room. Right now they're ripening. Here's another ripening room. They've got these fans in the back of these coolers that will bring fresh air in and take air out at the same time, because a lot of your produce, like these tomatoes here, are nowhere near ripe. As you can see, they're kind of white colored. So they pick them when they're green. This is a lot of your produce, guys. They pick them when they're green and they ripen them here before they send them out. Now here's another room, and they are running it in refrigeration right now. You can see it's 34 degrees. And here is the cooler I've been working on. So, yep, we're down to 58. As you can see earlier, it's been up to 77, which is the max temperature. Minimum is 58, which is where we've got to so far since I've had it running. And this one they run at 50 degrees. Set point of 50, and we're at 58. So I am going to let this thing run for a while, make sure it satisfies on the thermostat. And once I see that thing finally click off on the thermostat, I'm going to get out of here. Yeah. So this facility, tons of coolers. I forget, I counted them on a live stream the other day. I think there's 15 or 16 units. Well, I got into some fun stuff. I was fixing to leave, and I was hanging out to make sure the thermostat was going to turn the unit off, just covering my bases, and I'm glad I did, because it wasn't going to. So let me turn this on down to where they run it at. They run this one at 50. You'll see we'll get a green light here. I just heard the solenoid. There's our green light. So the other thermostat, I got a vertical format video I might put in here. You can see that one trace is corroded. Well, just like that, she's up and running good. I'm gonna wrap this thing up, button it all up, and get out of here. But word of advice. Now this is primarily for you young guys, apprentices coming up in the trade. Usually, everything in refrigeration is repairable. Now sometimes you get equipment that's way past its service life and decrepit and needs to be replaced. But if the customer isn't financially ready to replace something and it can be repaired, try to repair it. If it's not repairable, like legit not repairable, tell them. But perfect example, this unit, they told them there was no options. It had to be replaced and it was going to cost $60,000. What did it cost them to get it repaired? Somebody that was willing to do it, and about $5,000. That was including parts, materials, and refrigerant. They could have repaired it, just like I did. So yeah, hopefully this thing lasts them several more years. And guess what? They're going to call me when they need it replaced, as well as any of these other units. But again, do the right thing. Appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to give the video a like if you made it this far. I'd appreciate a subscription. Until next time, y'all have a good one.